Welcome to the Awesemo Early Bird Podcast. It's your old pal Emac coming to you with one Chris Randone as we get ready to look at the NBA heading into All-Star Week. It is going to be for Monday, February 10th. We, of course, are recording this on Sunday night after watching the New York Knickerbockers lose a close one in double overtime to the Atlanta Hawks. Chris, how are you doing? We had a week off. Super Bowl plans and stuff got in the way, so I recorded with Rinpack, and then Rinpack went on and won the $100,000 this week. So perhaps it is your turn to win $100,000.
Yo, I need it. So if that's the case, for the NBA season, listen, I will be happily doing this podcast, just thinking of that, knowing that if that's what's going to happen, if I can continue that trend, I'm all about that, man.
All right. Well, we've got a lot. We're going to do a little different here. We're going to go game by game. So we've got a lot to talk about. So let's kind of weave our way into that. We, of course, are sponsored here by SuperDraft. So reminder, they are going at 7:30 on Monday night. They're going to skip those first couple 7 o'clock games to give everybody a chance to lock up their lineups and head on over there. They've had some overlay 2 of the last 3 days, and it is something you'll want to check out if you guys have not signed up yet. For there, when you make your first deposit, if you use the promo code AWESEMO, put in $100, they will give you $20 in super cash. So that is a pretty solid deal. That super cash will be used first when you enter into any of their contests. We'll talk about them as we go through, but as a reminder, they do not have salaries over there. You can play anybody you want as long as you meet the position roster requirements of 3 guards, 3 forwards, and a center, but they have multipliers. Quick sneak peek, if you're James Harden, your multiplier is about a 1. If you're Furkan Korkmaz, your multiplier is about a 2. There we go. Let's get on into here. First game, Charlotte at Detroit. We only have over-unders for about half of these games, but we do have some major changes here for Detroit. They no longer have Andre Drummond, which has put Christian Wood into one heck of a fantasy spot here. The price is coming up, Chris, but he has dropped 2 outstanding games. We saw him do this when he got garbage time run at a couple other stops in his career. What do you want to do with Christian Wood now that the price is escalated?
Man, you're going to pay that? Because, he was 7,100 last game, and I played him. So I don't know if I'm really concerned. But
yeah, so he's 72 on DK. Okay, we Charlotte, slowest paced team in the league, also the worst defensive efficiency, and one of the worst rebounding teams. 8,100 on FanDuel. Oh, I don't know if I'm getting enough blocks and steals to support that price. And then he got a massive price increase from 15 to 24 on Yahoo. So we'll definitely want to play him there. But let's talk about that DK price there. 7,200. That's kind of in the sweet spot. I think it's appropriate, but he's going to need a darn near perfect game in one that's not going to be fast paced.
Yeah, exactly. And what scares me is like you mentioned, is the slow pace of Charlotte, and just in their type of game situations, there's not as many possessions. But you're right, though. They are a fairly poor rebounding team. So this is definitely a spot where Christian Wood can get the better of Zeller or Hernan Gomez. I mean, if he gets some run, whatever the case may be. But I don't mind Christian Wood. I ran him and Thon Maker this last time that they were on the slate. I think it was last night, I believe. But I got to tell you, I think on a 9-game slate, I don't know if I want to pay that just yet. Because it's at 7,200, it's going to be a little bit tougher for him to pay off. And so I think this is an ownership play. For me, when it comes to price, I always like to look at that. But I think when you look at this game, it's not the best of fantasy games, EMAC. And I say this because I just don't like playing against Charlotte. And then I think also Charlotte's just not good to where, are they even competitive? They haven't been as of late. They've been in a good amount of blowouts, which has led to less time off the court. So that's the risk that you want to take. I get it because of how bad they are defensively. But I can assure you that this over-under is probably going to be somewhere around 210, 212. It might be one of the lowest ones, if not the lowest one on the slate. So looking at this game from a fantasy perspective, Devontae Graham, his price I think is 7,100 on DK. Now he was in the 6K range on FanDuel, but I'm not on there right now. Can you do you have it in front of you?
Yes, Graham is 71 on DK, 68 on FanDuel, and 28 on Yahoo.
So I think damn, this is a little tough because I do like Graham. I think it could be a little bit better matchup at Detroit for Graham. I don't think I would touch Rozier, but if there's anyone that I want to look at, Graham on Charlotte's side. And then I guess Wood, we can talk about it. His price is a little scary, but him playing 35 plus minutes now, him being kind of the vocal point of the offense and being the big man in the front court, yeah, it's really hard to say no. So I'm iffy about it right now, and I'm going to wait to see where ownership is.
Okay. And that's kind of wrapping up where we are on this game. Again, the slower pace and then kind of lack of good opportunity. You've got Bruce Brown and you've got Reggie Jackson, Langston Galloway. Those guys are all healthy, so they're going to kind of cut into each other's minutes. John Hanson played like 17 and a half minutes in his debut, so he's kind of in there. So it's not Wood and Thon McCurr manning it all at this point. So really it's Wood, probably Bruce Brown at 5K 45 on FanDuel, and I don't like the 18 on Yahoo. So that would be that side of the game. Looking at the Charlotte side, not much else is enticing there. So let's move on to our next one, and we're going to have a couple here that we're going to go through relatively quickly, and then there'll be some fun ones to talk about. But Brooklyn at Indiana is the next one. Indiana is favored by 7 at home. Brooklyn, of course, will be should be without Kyrie Irving, and then Victor Oladipo had the second game of the back-to-back off, so he is going to be back. His minutes are still going to be around below 30, I think is what they had said through the All-Star break. He has played starting with his first game, came off the bench for 21, 22, and 23 minutes, then started with 25 and 27. So they're kind of getting him up to where he'll play 28 to 30, and that's what it's going to be through the All-Star break for him. So his is just going to be a price play if you can find him in places where it's favorable. And Chris, it's 4,200 on DK, 53 on FanDuel, and 14 on Yahoo. I don't mind a $4,200 Victor Oladipo, even if I'm getting 25 minutes from him.
Oh man, I like Brogdon a little bit more. Like,
okay,
I'm just not convinced yet on Oladipo. Now I get it. The minutes are up now, so 28 minutes. He's probably going to be chalk.
We're not getting all-star Victor Oladipo. We're getting Victor Oladipo after a year-long layoff from a significant injury. Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, his price point definitely warrants wanting to play, and I get it. So I'm okay with that. Because the minutes are going to be there, and now he's taken double-digit shot attempts, I think, in every game since he's been back. So chalk play, love it. I do like the guards in this game. Brooklyn struggles defensively against guards, so that's a boost there for Oladipo. But I think this is also a great spot for Brogdon too. Brogdon is someone who at 6,900, I think that his price will kind of shy away from the field. I don't think a lot of people will want to pay that for him. But if he's knocking down his shot and he's facilitating, he does have the upside there to get there. So I do like him. I love Karis LeVert. I love Dinwiddie. This is a game that definitely can have. I don't think the over/under is out yet, if I'm correct, unless it just came out. But when we started this, it wasn't out yet.
220. It's
220.
Yep.
So not necessarily the greatest, but not bad as well. But I do like Karis LeVert with Kyrie out. Really has just taken control of the offense. I thought. Since Kyrie's been out, I thought Dinwiddie would go back to what he was doing in the beginning of the year, but it seems like Karis LeVert has kind of taken on that role. Dinwiddie had a great game last game, though, against Toronto, especially against great defense of Van Fleet. So it was nice to see him get there. So I do like all these guards. When it comes to big men, if you want to consider like Jared Allen, he's 5,400. But his minutes are down, so just be mindful of that. DeAndre Jordan, I think, has overtaken him in minutes, which has been interesting, I think, since he's been back. So DeAndre Jordan's been playing some great ball too. If I'm not mistaken, he had 40 DK points last game. Double-double, 15 and 14. So, I mean, if you want to look at him, he's $5,000. Miles Turner, he's 5,100. we can talk about him because defensively, Brooklyn's not that great against bigs. So he's somewhat interesting because Miles Turner is someone who, if his defense is there and he's scoring, we know he's going to get a few rebounds. But if he has his whole game together, there's a lot of upside there. He can easily get you 35, 40 fantasy points without a doubt. And he does have the capability of getting a double-double. So, I mean, DK, I mean, that's there as well. So from that, I'm big on the guards, big men, not so much. And then you have your obvious plays like Sabonis, 9,600. He's getting up there. It's hard to want to pay that price, especially with other studs that we have on this slate. He's not the guy that's going to get the consistent 50, 55 DK points like I'm spacing out here, EMAC. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard, same price range. He's someone who can easily get 50, 55 DK points without ease. Sabonis, I'm not too confident in, so I would probably scratch that. And I think one more guy we can speak on is Jeremy Lamb. Still has a role in this offense, and he is cheap. And I mean, if he's knocking down his shot, he is someone who can also get there as well. So, I mean, for me, he played 35 minutes last game, 41 DK points. Like I said, if he's taking double-digit shots at 5,300, you don't need to be scared of that in a GBP format if you're multi-entering.
Yep, Karis LeVert really stands out on FanDuel at 5,600. He has started the last 3 games. In those 3 games, he has taken 18, 20, and 20 field goal attempts. He scored 37 points against Toronto on Saturday night, dropping a 50-burger. Had 23 in 26 minutes against Golden State for 39.5 fantasy points. And then against Phoenix, his first start, 32 minutes, 29 points for 45 fantasy points. So I really like that. FanDuel fell asleep at the switch. All right, the next one going to be a little tricky here. We don't have the over-under yet. It's Atlanta at Orlando. Orlando's going to be favored in this one. It's just going to be a matter of by how much. Atlanta played a double overtime game against the Knicks on Sunday night. They wrapped this up right as we started recording. I don't know who's going to potentially get limited minutes, a day off. Let's see. The starters for Atlanta. John Collins played 50 minutes. DeAndre Hunter, 48. Young played 48. Kevin Huerter played 48. And then off the bench, Dedmon played 33. Jeff Teague played 27. Damian Jones started. He played 15 minutes. He's the only starter to play less than 48 minutes. And then off the bench, you had Fernando Goodwin, Vince Carter, and Treveon Graham, who combined for 24 minutes. So we'll see. Could be some tired legs there. Nobody, again, not much to say other than it's a tougher matchup going against Orlando, which even without Jonathan Isaac has pretty good team defense. On the Orlando side, I think Vucevic looks really good in this game. What's your starting point for this matchup, Chris?
You mentioned it first. I mean, what's going to happen I mean, if they just had a game where they got to travel not too far from Atlanta to Orlando, but I mean, they all almost played 50. John Collins played 50 minutes. I mean, do they take it easy on a back-to-back? I mean, do they let them just go full speed? I mean, I think this is what's going to be running through everyone's minds because as good as Orlando is defensively, I mean, Trae Young dropped 65 DK points on him in their first matchup, surprisingly. So for me, I mean, I want to go to some fantasy options here for the Atlanta Hawks because I mean I do like Trae Young. I mean regardless of his 10K price point, and I do like John Collins. But going on the Orlando side, yeah, Vooch is in a great spot. I think for me personally, looking at him in this matchup, there's really no one that can guard him, and he's an offensive center, so he's not going to have an issue here against this front court of Atlanta, who does struggle against bigs. So I love Vooch here. Looking at the other guys though, like Fournier and Gordon, I think these guys are just tournament fillers. I wouldn't say that they're any cash game worthy, but I will say that if you're multi-entering, I think 6,400, yes, in some areas. If you want to put in a couple of Gordon shares, I'm okay with. Same thing for Fournier. I mean, he's not going to get you 35, 40 DK points all the time, but he has shown flashes where he can get there. I mean, he does take a lot of shots. And if he's hitting threes, that's a great for the DK bonus. So that's his way of being able to get there. And I mean, he's done it a few times this year. So at 5,800, I think that price point is okay. Defensively against guards, Atlanta has struggled, so this is a pretty good matchup for him. And then maybe Terrence Ross as a dart throw, if anything, from a GBP format. But outside of that, man, I don't know if there's really anything else that we would want to look at. Now, if Atlanta does come out and say limit restriction on minutes.
So just looking at the schedule, so I forgot to say at the top here, we do have the All-Star break coming up. Atlanta plays Monday, Wednesday, and then they're off until I think it was the 22nd. So they'll come back from the All-Star, or the 20th. So they get a whole bunch of time off. I could see them, because this one's on the road, I could see them giving somebody the night off, or taking it easy on them. Maybe these guys start, but they don't play more than 25 minutes, just depending on how tired they are. So I think that's.
What about their matchup on Wednesdays at Cleveland? You think since this they travel tonight to Orlando, which is nothing. It's like a 45-minute flight. So I mean, if they travel tonight, and then they play tomorrow, you think that he plays them tomorrow, but then rests them in an easy matchup to go ahead and just go on All-Star break against Cleveland?
No, and at first I thought that, but because they have the third worst record in the league right now, I think. I think them getting whatever rest they need trumps any part of the matchup, would be my guess. So I don't know.
I think. What about Clint Capella is going to be out, right?
Clint Capella's still out.
Yeah. So really the only option that we have. I mean, if you want to get just a little joke, but this is a revenge narrative for Dwayne Dedmon.
God, did he play for?
He started for Orlando, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, he started his career with the Orlando Magic. I could be wrong, but I know he's played on the Orlando Magic for sure.
All right, I'm quickly looking this up, because this one, I'm not doubting it. It just, oh boy, I did not realize he started his career. I think it was it's hard to tell on ESPN. I think it might have been with Golden State. Played 4 games. And then he had that same year he played 16 with Orlando. Oh God! And that same year he played 11 for Philly. So I don't know where he started, but he probably finished with Orlando, because he then was on their team in 2015 and 16, and the 14 and 15 and 15 and 16 seasons. Then he had the year in San Antonio. That's where I first really remember him. And then he had 2 in Atlanta, and then this part of the year.
So he went undrafted. He joined the Heat for the Orlando Summer League and the Mavericks for the Las Vegas Summer League, and then he signed with the Warriors.
Okay. Lasted 4 games. He took 3 where's his raw stats? He took 2 free throws for the Warriors and 1 field goal attempt in 4 games.
So his longest tenure has been the Magic.
Yes.
So he played 2014 to 2016, but now, I mean, he's back with Atlanta, so that will kind of trump that, because, I mean, he's played a couple years for Atlanta too before. But, I mean, just to be funny, let's just say John Collins sits, Dwayne Dedmon gets the nod, could be somewhat, interesting. It's not like he hasn't had some good fantasy games this year. Now, I'm not going to come out here and say, like, man, this is a great play. All I'm just going to say is that, all these other guys got a lot of run tonight. If they decide to go ahead, we're going to rest, and Dwayne Dedmon gets the nod, just a little fun, little revenge narrative, just being a jokester, nothing serious.
All right. Let's get on to our next one here. Minnesota at Toronto. Somehow Minnesota managed to take the Clippers behind the woodshed. I don't have that game up. I think it was 145 to 115 or something like that. Destroyed a full complement of Clippers who were missing only Pat Beverly. Wow.
How's that possible?
All their new guys just came out and could not miss from 3. It was literally nothing more than that. It was like the entire team had a chip on their shoulder, and Karl Anthony Towns was engaged. Heck, he almost had a triple-double. I'm calling up the box score. It was 142-115. You had Towns had, well, let's put it this way. They made 26 of 44 three-pointers. They shot 59% from 3. That's all you really need to say. But you had Juancho Hernan-Gomez made all 3 of his three-pointers. Karl Anthony Towns was 3 for 5. Beasley was 7 for 13. He dropped 7 three-pointers. All of their starters had good games. Off the bench, James Johnson was 2 for 3, and Nasir Reed was 4 for 6 from three. Literally everybody was. It's easier to say that Vanderbilt, Keelan Martin, and Jacob Evans played a combined 4 minutes. They're the only players that did not have a 3-pointer.
How good do you think the Clippers are?
I would put them right there with the Bucks and maybe Denver as and the Lakers as the top four teams. You could argue a variety of ways, but Clippers are definitely in that mix. And I think it's a distant second for everybody else.
You think Toronto is better than the Clippers?
I worry about Toronto's health and depth. So I don't have Toronto
14-game winning streak.
What Toronto is doing right now is wild. Considering the amount of injuries their guys have had, and guess what? They don't have their Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard with them anymore. So, wow. Yeah.
But their rotation, like Ibaka and Pascal in the lineup together, is really hard to match up with because of their length and size. And any front court, I mean, rebound wise, I mean, they have just been dominating.
Yeah. So the one injury note on as we get into this one, we had D'Angelo Russell dealing with the sore quad, and he didn't play in that monster game there. So be careful with the value plays because again, they made 2 out of every 3 3-pointers, and then Kyle Lowry sat out with the sore neck on Saturday. So we'll have to see if he's back. Wouldn't surprise me if Lowry got the day off. If he's, regardless of his status, I think Fred VanVleet is an interesting play. If Lowry is out, Terrence Davis will have more secure, not just the minutes, which he's been playing about 25 recently, even before the Lowry injury, because Norman Powell's out, but it's the shot attempts that will go to Terrence Davis that I'd be looking for if Lowry is out. But I'll let you take a run at these guys here.
Yeah, so how do we feel about the price points of Davis at 48 and Beasley at 45? I mean, these two guys were just huge chalk guys. And so I still feel like if they get the same type of run that they just did, I still feel like their price points are okay. Do you agree with that?
I would be fine with Beasley. Mostly it would be Beasley, in my opinion.
Yeah. Davis, I mean... Yeah.
Beasley, I'm sorry. Yeah, and Davis, I'm totally fine with. But I was trying to look at the other Minnesota guys here because I don't trust Jordan McLaughlin. He had a lucky game.
He's 5,300 now. It's like what?
Yeah, James Johnson.
I'm not paying 5,300 for Jordan McLaughlin.
Yeah, Nectat. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play because the hard thing is when Russell comes in, it's hard to tell who gets what minutes. We've only seen this combination of players once, and we know that. Flip, I can't think of his name. Flip Saunders' kid, who's coaching him. You know, he has quick hooks and he has funky rotations sometimes. So it's really, really hard to guess at what he's going to be doing here. But I think Karl Anthony Towns is trustworthy. I'd be fine with Malik Beasley, and then if D'Angelo Russell plays, I'm good with that.
Yeah, so I mean, man, it's like I want to play him just because it's the first game together. They've been excited to play together. But I mean, 8,700, I just don't know if I'm going to be really investing too much into him. And defensively, I mean, Toronto's pretty good against backcourt. So you got to put that into consideration as well. But if Lowry's out, I'll fire up VanVleet again, 7,600. But I mean, he gets an increased usage, a lot more assist opportunities as well, him being the main ball handler. So I'm okay with that as well. But I'm not paying 5,300 for McLaughlin. I mean, there's just no way. Jarrett Culver is just not fantasy worthy.
No, him and Okogie are just they
like I'm tired of them being like premium value plays because they're not. I mean, they're just not fantasy effective. So I'm just not going to go ahead and invest in them anymore because it's not worth it. But other than that, maybe if the forward situation's weird for Minnesota because they have so many. But I was looking at Hernan Gomez, I mean, and I wouldn't mind it if he did play 27 minutes again at 3,600 because, I mean, with the way that he plays, if he knocks down threes and he's going to rebound, he's could be an interesting value play. But OG is 3,900. He's going to play, 28, 29 minutes. There's always that opportunity, for him to get there. 30 points is what you would want from him at that price point. So, but other than that, man, I love the big man. Ibaka's price is still kind of just teetering there in the mid sixes. And he's good. He's been playing outstanding. So it's going to be curious to see tomorrow. I mean, Gasol's out still, and he's getting a heavy workload at 6,500. Don't know kind of how he'll match up with Towns. That's probably my only concern. I could see him getting in foul trouble if Towns is aggressive. But other than that, man, I mean, that's pretty much it from this game, especially outside those value guys.
All right. And then we are on to Sacramento at Milwaukee. The news on this one is Giannis. Well, one, Milwaukee favored by 14 at home. Two, Giannis may be missing this game for personal reasons. We don't have anything more than that, but I wouldn't shock me if they gave him the night off here against a just pedestrian Sacramento team. So if Giannis is out, absolutely go to Eric Bledsoe, go to Chris Middleton. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Get them in your lineup now. If you've got any love for the Sacramento players, who would it be?
Well, the big men are still out. So Holmes, Bagley are out. I think it's okay to go back to BJ at 6,000. I think he is the main kind of stretch four that they have in that offense. Giles is only going to play about 19, 20 minutes. He doesn't seem to get like an over that mark. So I'm okay with BJ here, especially in this matchup. I think you mentioned Middleton and Bledsoe, especially with Hill out, and if Giannis is out, yeah, I mean you have to go to these two guys. It's insane the amount of usage that goes their way with Giannis off the court.
Well, we watched him kill the Wizards last time Giannis sat in a very similar situation.
Dude, every time Giannis is out, they go off. I like it's hard for me not to you can't fade them. They're gonna go off. I mean, they're just gonna take a ton of shots. They're gonna facilitate the ball. They're the main ball handlers. So yeah, I mean, I'm all about that. I think DiVincenzo, I think is okay if you want at 4,100, but like he's just not gonna help you win a tournament, in my opinion. Hield coming off the bench at 6,600. He's been performing. I mean, it seems like he's better off the bench than in the starting lineup. They kind of found something there with this rotation. So at 6,600, if you want to pay that, I'm not against it. But other than that, EMAC, I mean, I think I would just focus on BJ, maybe a little bit of Buddy Hield. De'Aaron Fox is 7,500, so I'm okay with it. I don't like it. But yeah, Giannis is out. Bledsoe and Middleton will for sure be chalk, and as they should be.
All right, next game, Utah at Dallas. Still no Luka Doncic, but we do have Kristaps Porzingis, has said he will be playing. He sat on the back-to-back, had a little bit of knee soreness after that Washington Wizards game on Friday night, so he got Saturday off. Should be good to go. Utah is the team that is on the back-to-back in this one. Let's see here. They finished their game? Yes, they have finished their game. Just seeing if anybody played particularly heavy minutes. Mitchell, 37. Ingles, 33. Conley, 30. Wow, Conley, 34 minutes. Gobert, 37. And Bogdanovic, 32. Clarkson, 29 off the bench. They won by a point against the Rockets. So relatively heavy minutes, but not the worst matchup against Dallas. Not the best either. I think the usuals, which for me are really Mitchell and Gobert. I've been disappointed lately in Joe Ingles. It hasn't been as good. I think part of it is with Conley back. He doesn't get as many of the secondary assists, and he's not taking shots. Tonight he shot twice in 33 minutes. That's kind of a problem when you're going to need fantasy points for someone. So I guess for me, it's just the two guys at the top. You can roll the dice on Bogdanovic if you want. From Dallas, I guess it's Porzingis. And then what else are you seeing, Chris?
So I've been looking at the Dallas rotation here since Doncic has been out, because I've played some Kleber. I've loved Hardaway in some situations. And as you should, because, I mean, outside of Porzingis, I mean, other guys have to obviously get in the mix. But the way that the rotations have been, I mean, it's not the most pleasant. So I love Porzingis. Obviously, as we know, offense revolves around him. He will see a majority of the offensive opportunities. But Hardaway, man, I mean, at 5,400, I like it, and then I don't like it. And I say this because they've just been very frustrating with how he kind of rolls these offenses out, especially with Brunson. Curry's been getting a lot of run, man, and as he should. I mean, he's kind of been on fire. So his price point is now it's crazy. He's jumped up to 5,500, and he hasn't been able to miss. So it sucks because 5,500, it's kind of hard to kind of warrant that with him coming off the bench. But I thought I was just going to sit here and say that to want to play him tomorrow. But now he's 5,500. I'm not really liking that as a first look. But Porzingis is a lock to me. Hardaway, I'm okay with. Finney-Smith, I'm okay with too, kind of. Probably more on FanDuel. I think Finney-Smith is more defensive point dependent, so which is way beneficial for FanDuel compared to DraftKings. But as far as anyone else, man, I'm not really into Courtney Lee, Brokoff, Justin Jackson, maybe a little Cauley Stein, but I think he will have a little bit of a difficult time against Gobert. And then that makes me want to go ahead and say that I think Gobert's in a pretty good spot here. I like Gobert a lot at 7,800. And compared to all the other centers, he might be one of my top favorite plays tomorrow. I think this is a matchup for him where he can definitely eat up that front court of Dallas. I don't think anyone can really hang with him. So I really like Gobert. And then Mike Conley has been on the rise, and a lot of people now have kind of starting to see that he's getting back to playing Mike Conley minutes and taking more shots and shooting threes. So he's 5,500. I guess I'm going to be okay with that, man. I mean, if he's going to play 30 plus minutes and take shots and control the offense, he's going to be an okay play compared to him or Jordan McLaughlin. I mean, they're almost the same price range. I'm pretty sure you're going to take Mike Conley all day in that situation.
Mike Conley, 32 years old in his 13th season. Wow.
Do you know what college he went to?
He went to Ohio State.
Wow, man.
I have his player page open. So.
Oh wow! So you didn't know that then?
I wouldn't.
Do you know who he played with?
No, but I know his dad was an Olympic long jump medalist.
So
and in a celebrity dunk contest, I watched him. This is way back in the day. I watched him dunk from the free throw line.
Yes, dude, I saw that. That was a legit dunk.
Oh yeah, it was like
it was behind the free. It was better than
That's what happens when you're an Olympic long jumper.
That's crazy. But he played with Greg Oden. And they played against.
Oh, I knew he played with
Florida. Had Joakim Noah.
Yeah, and Horford.
Yeah, man, they played against each other in the NCAA tournament.
Sorry, for some reason I have him transposed onto Texas, but that was Kevin Durant in the same year. So,
yep.
I was just thinking of Texas uniforms. So, but I knew that wasn't right for Oden. But anyway, yeah, God, Oden was a good player. He just sometimes bad things happen. All right, back to the next one. 3 to go here. Spurs at Denver. We saw a whole bunch of players come back for Denver. They've worked in some players for the trade. They've got Jeremy Grant healthy. They've got Paul Millsap healthy. They are missing still Will Barton, and they're missing one other player I can't think off the top of my head who's been out for an equally long amount of time, but they still have a cast of thousands. You got Monty Harris, Gary Harris, Torrey Craig, all sorts of players there. Who knows what's going to happen? Same thing with the Spurs. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's up, he's down. DeMar DeRozan is not taking three-pointers, but he has still been relatively solid. LaMarcus Aldridge taking 5 times as many three-pointers as DeMar DeRozan. Let that one sink in for a moment. And then you've got the quartet of guards. What the hell do you do with DeJounte Murray and company, Derek White, Patty Mills, Bryn Forbes? This is a whole lot of mess. I do like Jokic. I'm okay with DeRozan. And I could probably get by with Jamal Murray. But after that, I'm not very excited.
I like Jamal Murray. 7,000. San Antonio guards struggle against opposing guards. I think they give up like the 4th most assists, 2 point guards as well. So with Will Barton out, I'm 100% okay with this, and he will see 35 minutes for sure. So that is something that at the guard position I'm okay with. Dejounte Murray 5,600, yeah, I'm okay with. I just wish that he would play 30 plus minutes because I mean his game is pretty sound, and I mean he has flashes this year, 40-point plus games, fantasy points. Hence, last game against Sacramento, played 28 minutes, scored almost 50 DK points. So he does have that upside, but this is a tough matchup going into Denver. Denver's very great defensively, tough environment and atmosphere to play in. So that's something also to consider. But DeRozan, I guess, Aldridge, I'm staying away from. He has these little peak games where he is just so difficult, man, to figure out. This should be a game where he could do very well in. I want to, but then I feel like I'm always the one who gets like that 14-point game, that 21-point game, and paying this price point, it hurts you. So, but it is a good matchup for him, man. Just like it is on the other side of the ball for Millsap and Grant. Now Millsap, he's 4,700, came off the bench last game, played only 18 minutes, so he's still nursing this little injury, and he might have another limit restriction again as far as minutes is concerned. But 34 DK points in 18 minutes. Trey Lyles is not going to be able to guard him, and that second unit, no one's really going to be able to guard Millsap. So I'm okay with it. Like as far as like a little dart throw, if you want. I mean, if he plays 20 minutes, I guess the second unit, yeah, that's fine. But also that Jokic, obviously, but nothing really else, man. Grant has really came down over the last few games. I don't know what's going on, but now all of a sudden he's 4,600. But Porter is out, so that's interesting. But
thank you. That was the guy I was missing. It's
yeah, Porter's
Porter
out,
Jr.
so that's still interesting because Grant's still going to get 30 minutes here. And at 4,600 for 30 minutes, it's a good matchup for him. So I could see this being a good play, essentially. I mean, I think that there is some upside there. It's just he hasn't played good, over the course of the last 3 games. But outside of that, man, yeah, I mean, you need Grant to score because not a lot of rebounds, not a lot of assists. Defensively, though, on FanDuel, I wouldn't mind him. And so I'm a little bit intrigued right now with this Grant play, actually, 4,600. That might be someone I might look at a little bit deeper as we get closer to tomorrow.
All right, 2 to go here. This is relatively straightforward. Phoenix at the Lakers. Lakers favored by 12, 228 over under here. One of the handful that we do have tonight. You've got LeBron James and Anthony Davis at the top. Maybe you put in Kyle Kuzma. Quick price check of him. 49 on DK, 43 on FanDuel, 16 on Yahoo. I'll take him on the first 2, not Yahoo. And then Booker and Ayton and Oubre are the 3 I like from Phoenix. Notice I did not mention Ricky Rubio. No, thank you. Booker just too ball dominant these days. That is a short way of saying there's only half a dozen players I like in this game.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But can we just at least acknowledge how good DeAndre Ayton is?
He is as long as he doesn't have to play defense, he's been pretty good. He's 9,300 on DK. Do you want to go there?
No, I mean, I don't think
he's earned it. He has definitely earned it.
Oh yeah, he's definitely earned his price point for sure. I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that he's just been an absolute beast, man. Double machine. He is just a great, talented scorer. Defensively, now that's a little bit of a different situation, but I mean, he still gets defensive stats. So, but other than that, though, man, you have your obvious plays if you want to play them, James and Davis. I just don't know how you'll be able to fit them in on DraftKings for like an optimal lineup. So I'm not sure if that's the right way to go. Oubre and Booker are the top plays, obviously, from Phoenix side. And Bridges continues to still, stay around this little 4,000 price, 4,800 price point, 5,000. He's 4,800 in this game. He's going to play heavy minutes. He's just someone where if you're looking to kind of rotate some cheap guys, he would be the option if you're multi-entering. So I can definitely get you 30 plus fantasy points. So I don't mind him. But other than that, man, I mean, I don't know if I'm really seeing anything here that like gets me real excited outside of those, top guys who are costly.
Yep, it's kind of perfuming the pig, as they say. That gets to our last game. We'll mention Miami first. They are heading into the fourth quarter in Portland right now. They are on a bit of a West Coast swing. They will be flying down to Golden State. So they, let's see, played the Clippers last Wednesday, Sacramento Friday, in Portland tonight. As I mentioned, Golden State on Monday. Wednesday they're in Utah. Then they head to Atlanta before coming back home after the, I'm sorry, it's Utah, and then they're in the All-Star break. They open coming out in Atlanta. So they've got 2 more road games here. We'll have to see. They're missing a few players, and we don't know the status yet of Jimmy Butler. He was questionable, then ruled out. He's dealing with a sore shoulder. There's a chance that they just may let him be rested into the All-Star break. You also have Tyler Hero. He was dealing with a sore ankle. He's questionable for Monday's game, and they've got Jay Crowder and Andre Iguodala that they were working in. Did they play? Yes. Crowder, heading into the fourth quarter, has played 23 minutes. Iguodala has played 11 in his first appearance of the season after sitting while he was with Memphis. So we'll have to see what's coming on out of this game if there's any additional injuries. The guys, I think I would, if Butler's out, go to the guards. If Butler's in, then I think it's Adebayo is really the only guy I'm interested in. On the other side, you got the Golden State Warriors. I don't know what to do with them. They turned over a bunch of people. They've got their converted contract guys that are in the mix now, and then brought in Andrew Wiggins. But it was Marquise Chris that led the way on Saturday night with 26 points. Against the Lakers, who actually have 3 good centers.
Dude, what was he doing?
I don't know. It was the most bizarre outcome.
The way he was dunking and the way he was being aggressive, it just looked like a miniature Sean Kemp. It just didn't make any sense. He shot 9 of 10 from the field. I think in one of the halves. He was 12 of 15, EMAC. 26 points, 9 rebounds. Yeah, I mean, he's 5,800. If you're not paying 5,800 for him, there's no shot. But speaking on this game, I think you're right about Butler. I think Butler doesn't even play an All-Star weekend. I could see Bradley Beal getting the nod and getting an alternate call-up. So, but fantasy-wise for this, if Butler and Hero are out, I think going to one of none or Dragic is okay. And then I think Bam Adebayo, this should be a game where he can thrive for sure, even though he did struggle against Golden State in their first matchup. He only took 5 shot attempts, EMAC, and he scored 19 DraftKings points. So very interesting, from that perspective. But I don't know, man. This game doesn't, I don't get excited about Jay Crowder or Derek Jones. I mean, he's 4,900 now. So if you want to roll there, I mean, you can. I just don't know if it's worth it. Pascal's 5,100. I think he is someone who is somewhat interesting because, he's going to play. It looks like from what we've seen as of late, his minutes are starting to go up now. He was injured. Now he's getting a little bit healthier. So it is actually a pretty good matchup for him. But Chris is 5,800, man. If you're paying 5,800 for Chris, that's wild because I just can't fathom it. And then Draymond Green and Wiggins, I'm okay with it. I just don't necessarily know if I'm going to go there personally. Yeah, this game is just – I got to see more. I got to it's hard from a first look because I would probably rather gravitate to one of the earlier games that we spoke about for sure compared to these guys. So maybe a few shares, if you're doing 150 lineups, yeah, but I don't know, EMAC. I'm not really too keen on many of these guys in this matchup.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit tough. I'm just looking at that box score against the Lakers. They played 11 guys, got 14 minutes or more.
Yeah.
That makes it tough.
That's real tough.
And they only lost by 5 to the Lakers, they had some garbage. They had got 7. They cut the deficit by 7 in the fourth quarter, but still, that's 5 points. It's got pretty close there. It's some hot shooting there from Jordan Poole at the end. So Wiggins played 31 minutes, was 8 of 12 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3-point range, 24 points, 5 steals, 3 assists, but that's probably going to be his baseline minutes will be around 31. Chris, I think, will stay around 25. Kai Bowman was everybody's little discount dandy darling at the minimum He got 29 minutes, went 1 for 6. It's going to be tough to trust him at any higher of a price there. But yeah, Chris and Eric Pascal would be the guys to look at. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. But let's talk real quick. SuperDraft, some key plays for them. I'll just call them out here. You've got Andrew Wiggins with the 1.4 multiplier. So he's going to project as one of the top 5 best plays. And now, reminder, their scoring system, again, no salary cap. Each player has a multiplier, and then their scoring is pinball style. They have double-double and triple-double bonuses. You get 3 points for blocks and steals. You get a half-point bonus for 3-pointers, and then everything -1 for turnovers, and then everything else is what you're used to seeing. And then you get the multiplier on top of that. So Wiggins, whatever he puts up, multiply it by a 1.45 or a 40% booster there. That's interesting. You've got Anthony Davis coming in on a good raw projected points total. He's actually ahead of LeBron because he has a 1.1 multiplier on his figure. LeBron, I guess they both have 1.1. Interesting. I thought they were on Saturday. They both had 105, so I thought one of them got ahead of the other. But Bam Adebayo in that game going against Wiggins, 1.4 multiplier. He's going to be up near the top. Eric Bledsoe, if Antetokounmpo is out, he has a 1.55 multiplier. That's pretty nice. And where is our friend Mr. Middleton? Would have been better if I didn't just sort the player names by alphabetical order. Middleton 1.4 multiplier. So there's some key plays that you can look at. Again, three guards, 3 forwards, and a center. They have late swap. They have mass multi-entry available via CSV, and those are the main selling points. Oh yeah, and when you sign up, when you make your first deposit, if it's $100 and you use the promo code Osmo, they'll add $20 into your account for immediate use into any contests. Any final thoughts, Chris, before we hopefully have gotten everybody safely to work on a Monday?
No, man. Yeah, Monday, first look. I'm sure we'll get a ton of news. I'm sure we'll get a lot of value, especially on a big slate like this. So just continue to update, continue to, look at those Osmo projections, the boomer bust tool, and let's go. Someone take down something big. Good luck to everyone.
All right. With that, gamers, you can follow Chris over on Twitter at Chris Randone. I am at EMACDFS. And of course, it is Osmo_COM. Good luck.